a drink with me. Hey!
Joining me today is a TV writer and a comic, Josh Greenberg. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I'm very excited about this because I tried to snatch you up last year for an episode, and then I don't know, got you this year. So
yeah, I think things were kind of crazy at the time, and things are still crazy, but a little less crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm very happy I get to be on this.
Yeah, everyone kind of gets the understanding now of like their schedules. Now it's like, oh yeah, I guess I'm not leaving the house for like a couple of weeks, so
yeah, exactly.
We're good. So you have chosen our drink for today. It's Rum and Cokes.
Yes, Rum and Coke. I am a major Coke stan. As kids like to say. I love me a Coca-Cola. I'm really not a big drinker, so when I started dating and realized that like you had to drink on a date, I would go to the old standby Rum and Coke with just a mostly 99% Coke, a tiny splash of rum, and that's what I'm drinking.
Okay, so you just got a splash of rum today and mostly Coke?
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully you're impressed. I'm going to be drinking my Rum and Coke out of a boot.
That is very cool.
And I don't know like the proper measurements for how people should do Rum and Coke, but I think it's pretty close.
I mean, if it's served in a boot, you can't go wrong. Is there a story behind that glass?
So I bought it for Oktoberfest in Big Bear. My wife and I go like every year, and it looks like it's only like a 24-ounce boot, but it's actually 32. Or it looks like it's 16, but it's actually 32. So using this, you buy one drink and then they fill it to the top, but it's actually the price of 2 drinks. So I just love having this. And I was looking downstairs to see what fun thing I could drink out of, and I found this tucked away.
That's very cool. And most importantly, I hope it's dishwasher safe.
It isn't.
Okay, well that's fine. That's fine.
Hand wash, yeah.
That's fine.
It started to melt around the rim too. First time I put it in.
I see.
But yeah, so Rum and Cokes. So you aren't much of a drinker, but Rum and Cokes. Anything else that you kind of go for? Is it just strictly a little bit of rum and a lot of Coke?
On like vacations and stuff, I will do a very, very masculine daiquiri. Yeah, anything with an umbrella or fruit on a stick, on a swizzle stick. I love that. I love a frozen drink. So
yeah, I was trying to think of the last time I had rum, and it was like a pina colada out of a pineapple.
Nice.
So it was very fruity drink out of a fruit. So I'm not much of a rum drinker. I typically only have it if I order a whiskey Coke and they give me rum on accident.
I see.
Yeah, but it's good.
I never really liked the taste of alcohol. I never really, for some reason, never got it. Especially, I know this is going to sound really weird, but especially beer. I could never get the hang of beer. And so rum for me, especially mixed with Coke, because I'm 12 years old, is delicious. So yeah, that's about as hardcore as I get.
Yeah, I mean it's dangerous too, like dangerously delicious.
For sure. Yes.
So speaking of Coke, I want to dive into what our topic is today, and it's a movie that has a lot to do with Coke, but also boobies and wieners.
Yep.
Boogie Nights.
Yes.
So this is one of your favorite movies, I would assume. You said you could talk about it for days.
It is. I'm really delighted we're talking about it because you said, are there any movies that we could discuss? And I said, I think Clue, Boogie Nights, and Empire Strikes Back, any of them I could discuss endlessly, and a few other films too. But Boogie Nights is just a goddamn classic film, in my opinion. One of the greatest American films ever.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I saw it a few years ago, but I remembered like parts of it, and I must have missed the last like 2 minutes of the movie before, because this time I got surprised with Mark Wahlberg's penis.
Yeah,
Here you go.
yeah,
You're a rock star.
yeah.
And I didn't know that was there.
You know what I found very weird about it? I didn't think it was that big. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That's not funny. Yeah, that was quite a shocking ending to that movie.
Hmm.
Apparently, he had the prosthetic. He got to take that prosthetic home with him. So
Oh, it's great. Where would
yeah,
you keep something like that
I don't
if you
know.
get to take it home?
It's an awkward conversation piece, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Just like, I don't know, door knocker or something. I guess we don't use door knockers anymore. They're all just ring cameras.
No. We should get back to that though.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find one for you.
Yes. And I also read that the Dirk Diggler painting that appears in the movie sold on eBay for like several $100s.
The one that looks nothing like him.
Exactly.
Looks like Bill Hader.
Exactly. Yes. It is remarkably unlike Mark Wahlberg, but yeah.
He's just so sweet in the movie too, because he's like, "Oh, look, this is a painting of me,"
Exactly.
and it's like looks nothing like you. And he's like, "Oh, look over here. Here's another painting," and it's like that also doesn't look like him.
That's right. You do a very good impression, by the way, of Marky Mark.
Thanks.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Pretty good. I find it very amusing, but yeah, he is. You picked up on something, that he is very sweet in the whole movie, and Mark Wahlberg is often so kind of seedy and unlikable, and
Yeah.
this is such a great, charming performance from him. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Even when Philip Seymour Hoffman like leans in and kisses him New Year's Eve, he's still like, "Yo, what are you doing? Let's just get back inside. Get to the party." Doesn't want to like. He's not even like pissed about it. He's just like a sweet boy.
Yeah, he doesn't want to mess up his friendship with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Hmm.
It's so great. He just captures this certain attitude of like the young, white dude in America in the 70s. He's
Hmm.
sort of naive, then he, gets this, ego, and it all comes crashing down. It's just really, it's so well executed.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that also, like, no one in the film is particularly bright.
Hmm.
They're all just kind of sweet dummies,
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, absolutely. The first thing that came to my mind watching that was the '90s really did William Macy bad. Like, he gets screwed over in every single movie he was doing. Like in Fargo, he's like money issues, wants to have his wife kidnapped.
yeah.
In this, he has to watch his wife get plowed endlessly. And then I just watched Happy Texas. I don't know if you've seen that.
I have, yes. Also,
Great movie.
have you seen The Cooler?
No, I haven't.
Another one from that era, and like he just really got typecast as like the loser,
Yeah.
But he was very good at that role.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even in Shameless, I mean, he's not so much like you can take advantage of this kind of loser. He's like a different end of the spectrum of loser.
Right.
Oh, so good though.
Yes.
Sorry, I have a fun question for you
Sure.
that I think you'll appreciate. It's very fucking stupid, but I want you to maybe close your eyes, get into this. If you were Roller Girl or Roller Man, and you had to wear your skates all the time, how long do you think you could go before you start breaking your ankles?
It's a question the film never really addresses, does it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't take them off, but
No.
how long do you think you could go before you're just like, no.
Oh, if it was me personally, I would.
You personally?
Yeah, I'd probably be able to go a good solid 3 seconds before falling and hurting myself,
Yeah.
because I'm very uncoordinated. But
Mhm.
apparently, Heather Graham does not have that problem.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Even right off the bat, she's like in school and she's just out of her seat and rolling, and then somehow undresses while doing it too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I would put them on and like be excited that I have rollerblades on or roller skates rather, and then I would like be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit. I'll keep them on for a little bit, but yeah, I'd
Right.
eat shit almost immediately.
Exactly. Me too. Me too. I think I might. I think if I have one teeny tiny nitpick with the movie, it
Mhm.
might be that roller skates, I think, were like a very specific period of time. And
Hmm.
she has them during this pretty big span, almost like, a decade,
Yeah,
from the 70s through the 80s. And I'm not sure if they were like as cool in the 80s
yeah.
as they were in the 70s. But what,
Well, it also touches on your point of like everyone was a lovable dummy. She didn't even have her high school diploma, so it
true.
could be that she was just like, oh, I like roller skates. And I mean,
Yeah.
everyone in that movie really was like, I don't care what other people think of me. I
Yes.
mean, our boy Marky Mark gets that way, but for the most part, everyone's just like, gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna
Yes.
be my own version of cool and whatever, deal with it.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
think that that's probably why she just never took them off for a full 10 years.
That's that's a that's a good point. That's a very good point. I guess probably the only person who was obsessed with what other people thought was Philip Seymour Hoffman. So, I mean, right, he was the only one who was constantly wanting to emulate uh, Dirk Diggler, right?
Yeah,
To
he
impress
wanted
him.
to
So,
be, yeah, he wanted to be as cool as the loser people.
right, right, right.
Just
Yes.
all the way at the low. I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. I thought he was going to drive away and then hurt himself. I'm
Right.
glad he didn't, because you can see in the scene after when William William H Macy
Hmm.
William H Macy goes and grabs the gun out of his car. You can see Philip Seymour Hoffman in his new orange car getting out and going back to the party.
Oh,
So it's
that's
like, oh,
great.
good. He doesn't leave. So that's great.
That's very cool. I remember someone pointing out that when he first meets Mark Wahlberg, there's this incredible detail where his shirt is too small and it keeps like rolling up on him, and it's almost
Hmm.
like a cartoon tuxedo where he keeps like unrolling it and
Oh.
tucking it back down. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Oh yeah, that was when he had the clipboard and he was trying to bring him down into the basement, and
Right.
he kept
Yes.
sucking
Yes.
on the pen the whole time. He's like
Yes.
moving, and he's like sucking on the pen and looking at him.
Yeah.
What a great performance he did too, for like probably like one of the only characters you really need to feel bad for, and
Absolutely.
for really no reason at all. He's just plays like a character you're supposed to feel bad for, and I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yep. Absolutely. I
Uh,
I saw him once in a restaurant, and it was very exciting.
oh really? Where was
Yeah,
it?
in New York. Um, I had gone to see. There was this play a few years ago that was really popular called shit. What was it called? Sleep No More, and it was like this very interactive play where everyone in the audience put on masks, and then you walk
Hmm.
around this like big warehouse. And you're sort of seeing actors in different rooms acting out scenes,
Hmm.
and it's just creepy because the entire audience is wearing a mask. And then afterwards, my sister and I went to a restaurant, and we had our masks sitting on the table, and across the restaurant, Philip Seymour Hoffman was eating, also with a mask on his table, and we looked at each other and gave a kind of knowing nod, like
Yeah.
it was very eyes wide
You were at the
shut.
sex party too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, so that was pretty cool.
That's such an interesting way to like meet somebody. Like I feel like that is, how someone would have met Philip Seymour Hoffman, would just be like, yeah, we're in a basement, we've got masks on.
Right. Right.
No big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
You
absolutely.
go to a diner after, and it's just like you have to pretend that nothing was weird.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's great. Do you have a favorite scene or anything from the movie?
Well, I would say, I mean, the most effective scene, I think, is the like climactic scene in Alfred Molina's mansion with
Oh
the
yeah.
like I showed that to my wife before we got married. I was like, okay, I know this is weird because this is a movie all about like the porn world, but this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And one great thing about this movie, I think, is that it sort of crosses lines. Like my
Yeah.
parents, you wouldn't think my parents, would love a movie like this, but they love it, and my wife does too. And she, I remember her saying, "I have never been more tense than during that scene with the firecrackers."
Yep.
It's just everything, the firecrackers and the way the camera shifts over to focus on Marky Mark, and he goes through this whole range of emotions on his
Yeah.
face. It's just, it's so beautiful and tension provoking. I love that scene.
Yeah, like I was saying, I had seen it before, and then I watched it again last night. And in that scene where, he's just sitting there, just kind of like he's smiling a little bit, and John C. Reilly's like, "We got to go," and he's just like, "I'm like, what is going through your head? I don't remember what happens here, but literally anything could happen at this exact moment because that's how hard it is to read everything in that scene." But it's just like Alfred Molina was so good in that,
Oh
and
my God, so good.
Tom Jane with the super fake mustache.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I've seen that Alfred Molina has talked about, he did that shoot for like, I don't know, a day or 2 days or something.
Hmm.
And here he's got this, long, really esteemed career. And he said the only thing people come up and ask him about is that scene in Boogie Nights. This scene that
Jeez.
he only shot on for a day or two. But it was so memorable. Yeah. Oh my God. And yeah, Thomas Jane is so good. Um, there's another scene also that does a similar camera move that I love when Burt Reynolds first like propositions Mark Wahlberg. Not when Mark Wahlberg is working as like a busboy, but he takes him out to like a diner with Julianne Moore and Heather Graham, and the camera does some really really weird interesting moves where it's like
Hmm.
they're like sitting in a booth, and it's like
Yeah.
a two shot, and then suddenly the camera just slides sideways until it's focused on Mark Wahlberg, and then it slides back into place. It's
Interesting.
yeah, it's really really a cool way to make a regular static dialogue scene kind of fresh and interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Very like dynamic too.
Yeah.
I the movie, like, it's funny because of the premise. It's a guy with a freaking 13-inch penis who wants to be an actor, so he gets into porn. But also, like, the movie's shot so well. Like, they
Hmm.
do so many one take, single camera scenes, like following Burt Reynolds going through the house, or
Oh,
Mark Wahlberg going through the house, and I was just like blown away by that too, because you didn't need that stuff to get the movie over and like to get the point of it. And like I thought the acting was really good, the different like the variety of characters, and like the incredible cast is enough to get it over. And then they still just had insane direction on it. It was
oh, absolutely.
so pleasant to watch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very clear that he's very influenced by Scorsese, because
Hmm.
there's a lot of that sort of Goodfellas vibe in the movie. Oh, well, another
Yeah.
thing is that's very Scorsese is it is just wall to wall music, like
Hmm.
the use of these pop hits and disco hits to like take you through that era is
Yeah.
really impressive.
Hmm.
I always wonder how much that cost. That I mean, it must have, like, if he had a specific song in mind and knew he
Yeah.
wanted to use that song. I'm sure it cost a shit ton of money. So
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know. I always think that, like, when I'm writing something, I'll create a playlist on like Spotify or whatever, and it's playing through my head, and I'm like, yeah, this just fits. And I wonder how often directors, they do that. Like, they have the song in their head, and they're like, this is the only song that's going to work. If not, we're not doing it. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we're just going to nix the scene completely. That's kind of how it seems.
Yeah, totally.
I love I love music, or I love movies where they just like one of the main focuses is the music. And yeah, a great soundtrack for this, and I felt like everything went really well with
Did you have any favorite scenes?
it.
Anything that jumped out at you?
I have a favorite line, and it's I'm trying to think of what the guy's name was, but he's the one who wants to switch from film to VHS.
Oh
The
yeah,
older guy. I thought it was the Colonel, but it's not the Colonel.
his name is
It's
Floyd Gondoli.
Floyd.
Yeah,
So,
Gondoli. Yeah.
I mean, the Alfred Molina scene is, I would say, the best scene, but the best line is Floyd saying, "Put butter in my ass, a lollipop in my mouth."
I'm a happy
It's
man.
just like, okay,
Yeah.
all right then.
Yep. There's a great thing happening in the background during that moment. I don't know if you saw this, but
I didn't
if you go
notice.
back and watch it, the guy who plays the Colonel is in the
Hmm.
deep background of that shot, and he is cracking up. So I think maybe those lines, butter in my ass, lollipop. I think that must have been improvised because you can see him just bursting out laughing in the
Yeah.
background.
Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
They
Oh,
did a
that's
really good
good.
job with another line where William Macy is chatting with the film editor, while his wife's out back having sex, and he's like, "My wife's got her ass in some dude's dick right now,"
Oh
or
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah,
along that line.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
was delivered so well, and I love that it was just said, and no one tried to correct him, because far too
Absolutely.
often in movies people are like, "Wait, what did you say?"
Right.
It was just like he said that, and that was it.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because he's so fucking flustered in the moment that he's gonna say that.
Yeah,
Um, you know what? I'll tell you a favorite line of mine. I mean, there's so many great little lines, but
yeah,
when Burt Reynolds is having that confrontation with Mark Wahlberg by the pool, and Mark Wahlberg's like, "Come on, I'm ready to shoot. I want to shoot my scene." And sorry, I can't do as good an impression as you can.
hey,
And and Burt Reynolds is like, "Well, nevertheless, I'm not going to shoot you in the state that you're in." And Mark Wahlberg says, "The state I'm in, the state of California. Come on."
yeah.
He doesn't know that expression.
Come on, feel it, feel the vibration.
Oh
That
yeah,
was a
yeah,
great line.
exactly.
They
Uh,
did a great job with everyone. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen The Art of Self Defense.
no, what is that?
Incredible movie. It's Jesse
Oh,
Eisenberg.
yeah, it came out pretty recently, right?
Yeah, I think 2018, 2019. But it's a movie about all these people who take karate lessons, and they're all like, I mean, if you were like, "Oh, I take karate," I mean, Mark Wahlberg also so many times is like, "Yo, I'll fight you, dude. I know karate." And but in this movie, like that would be the gag of like, "Oh, Dwight Schrute does karate." Oh, that's so funny. But everyone in this movie does karate,
Yes.
and they are all so serious about it. So
Yeah.
they're just like, they're goofy because they're just like, "Oh, you wear your belt everywhere you go," and then everyone else in the movie is just like, "Yes, we do." And that's it. That's another good way, or another good example of writing these goofy characters in a scene or a full movie to make it so realistic that you're not like pulled out because someone's the straight guy. Someone's like, "Come on, we're just shooting porn here, you idiots!" Like, why is
Right.
everyone so stupid? Everyone's just like on the same level, and that's just like, it just makes it so much better, because then you can be in it, and you don't have to pick and choose of like, "Oh, well, this character's right because of this." It's just, no, everyone's a little dumb, and everyone's a little out there, and it's just super entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime like a movie gets into a subculture, be it, the mob or porn movies or whatever, it's
Hmm.
really interesting to see how like kind of enclosed it is. It's like
Yeah.
these people live in this world, and to them this world is very, very important. Like when
Hmm.
Burt Reynolds talks so earnestly about making a film that he'll be remembered by, that a legacy film,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, like it's easy for us outside of that world to say, oh, that's so sad or so embarrassing, but there's
Hmm.
something also so like charming that he believes
Yeah.
this will stand the test of time,
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really kind of does. I mean, you would assume living in this world, his legacy lives on. It's like you look at like any director, really. I mean, do I know any porn directors? No, but it would, back in the 70s and the 80s when he's doing this, his character's doing this. That's like the whole movement of porn and their genre and their subculture, like you're saying. So like that's absolutely going to move on,
Yeah,
or live on rather. But
absolutely.
yeah, that's great movie.
Have you
Great movie.
have you read anything about Burt Reynolds, his attitude in the filming or about the movie?
No, but I would love to hear about it.
It's really interesting. He apparently he turned down the movie many times, um,
Hmm.
and a bunch of people had been offered that role. Like Warren Beatty had been offered the role and also
Oh wow.
turned it down. Sidney Pollack had been offered it and turned it down. But finally, Burt Reynolds took the role, and apparently he was just a real dick, a difficult person, to work with on set.
Hmm.
And once the movie was completed, he was like ashamed of it, and he wouldn't do any press. He was like, this is I don't feel this is representative of my career. I shouldn't have done this. It was a mistake. And then all of a sudden the movie comes out, it's a huge hit,
Huge
and
success. Yeah.
and everyone is like marveling at how great he is in it.
Hmm.
And he gets nominated for, I think maybe he won a Golden Globe, and he got nominated for an Oscar, but he had just so kind of misjudged what the movie was, or maybe he just didn't get what it was, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and the legend is that he lost the Oscar because he was so outspoken about how much he hated the movie. So
That would make complete sense. I
yeah,
mean, I would love to see how he felt about the movie The End that he did with Dom DeLuise. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's
I do
a
remember
real
that. Yeah,
beast.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Burt Reynolds of all people to be judging bad movies. He
Yeah.
made quite a few horrible movies in the 80s.
Hmm. I've never seen such worse acting out of Burt Reynolds than in that movie. Oh, man, rough to watch, but I mean, you can't really skip a Dom DeLuise movie, so
I,
I had to watch it, and I was just like, Burt Reynolds is so bad in this. He's just, but I also would assume that maybe that was one of the things too, where he was like, oh, I need the money. I'm going to do this stupid film, and then did it, and you could tell that he didn't want to do it because of how much he just appeared to not have cared
yes,
about his acting in it.
yes, yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's completely plausible. But
That's funny. And I also admire your admiration for the great Dom DeLuise. We don't
he's
hear enough
incredible.
about Dom DeLuise these days.
I know. I watched not too long ago. I'd never seen this before, but 12 Chairs. I'm a huge Mel Brooks fan, but I'd never seen 12 Chairs.
I've never seen it either, actually, and I love Mel Brooks, but never seen it. Should I?
So yes, so my wife had seen it. My wife, and she said that I should watch it. That it's, she's like, oh, it's very funny. She's not as big of a Mel Brooks fan as I am. Like she loves, History of the World and that. But I'm also like, give me Spaceballs and give me,
Life Stink.
everything in between. Yeah, and so yeah, 12 Chairs follows this guy who, well, here's the premise. Someone put diamonds in one of their 12 dining room chairs. They're now on their deathbed. Those chairs have now left and they're being like brought to a museum or to auction or for sale. So they're trying to track down which one of these chairs has the diamonds in it. And Dom DeLuise is like one of the characters trying to chase it. And like that, just I have such a huge appreciation for Dom DeLuise for that movie specifically because he's just like very silly but believable. Where a lot of the times he's a little over the top, but very good movie. I highly recommend watching that.
I will check it out. That's awesome. I have a
Yeah,
very
so
strange.
good.
This isn't exactly a Dom DeLuise memory, but it's Dom DeLuise adjacent, I would say. I went to the Comedy Store one time, and they had these like stars on the ground, like imitating the the Walk of Fame star.
Yeah.
And there was a line of people coming into to like the main room, and
Hmm.
I recognized Peter DeLuise, son of Dom DeLuise, and I think he was also on like 21 Jump Street back in the day. And
Oh, okay.
he looked at the star, and he was like, "Oh!" Like there was a moment of recognition, and then a woman right behind him looked at it and said, "Who the fuck is Dom DeLuise?" And I was the only one there who I wanted to be like, "That's his son," and Dom DeLuise is a great actor, but I
Yeah.
instead just said nothing, and it was very awkward. But anyway,
Oh, it sounds it.
yeah, it was.
Good thing to be a part of, though.
Yes. So
I have one last thing that I want to say about this movie, and if there's anything else you want to say, let me know, and then we'll go into a quick break. But John C. Reilly's character from Boogie Nights clearly grew up to be his character in Step Brothers.
absolutely,
That is all I'm thinking. Like, you know, that's not how you do a jackknife. Here, let me show you. And then like fails, and like he's just like, oh, cool. Oh, how much do you bench? And it's like, oh, you gotta tell me first. Okay, we'll say it on 3. And then it's like 1, 2, 3, nothing. But it's just very. You could have replaced Mark Wahlberg with Will Ferrell in all of their scenes together, and you would have been like, "Oh, yeah, you're showing me Step Brothers right now."
absolutely. That's a very good observation.
And I think that I appreciate the movie so much more because of that.
That's so funny. Yes, he excels at playing that character specifically. The scenes in the studio where you see John C. Reilly just bobbing his head, rocking out. He's so supportive of his terrible, untalented friend. It's so charming.
Because it's not even. He doesn't even think that it's not talent. He's like blown away by this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome.
Oh, and that reminds me of another one last line when the owner of the record shop, who is I don't know if you caught this, is Robert Downey Sr., the guy who
I
owns
didn't know that.
the recording studio.
Yeah,
he's not going to give them their tapes,
the tapes. Yeah,
and Mark Wahlberg is like, okay, you might own the tapes, but the magic on those, that's ours. That's our magic. And the guy says, that's your problem. That's a YP, not an MP.
Yeah, an MP.
And Mark Wahlberg says, okay, YP, or maybe it's John C. Reilly who says, okay, YP, MP, I don't understand all this industry jargon.
Yeah.
God damn. Okay. Sorry.
Very well written movie.
Yes.
I just everyone was so likable and but yeah, but solid movie. And I when I first I remember I first watched it and I was like, oh, this is a great movie. And then I was trying to start it last night and it's 2.5 hours long, and I never realized that. So I was like, oh, I hope I can get through this because we have to talk about this today. But I never thought that it dragged on or anything. I was just kind of like stuck in like each little bit of the moment, and I just enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you for making me watch this again.
Of course. I'm really glad we got to talk about it.
Hell yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to find out where we can find Josh on social media, and you're going to share a drinking story with us.
Okay,
so,
great.
We'll be right back.
If you've made it this far into the episode, it's safe to assume you're enjoying the show. You can support this podcast by picking up some merch over at shop.stricterpictures.com. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check out some of the other content we've created on this channel. Thanks.
Okay, we are back, and we're going to get into drinking a little bit. So earlier in the episode, you were saying that you are not a big drinker. You're a little bit of rum.
Yep.
A lot of Coke.
Yep.
So did you have a Coca-Cola,
Just to be
yes.
clear.
Not that booger sugar, yeah.
Right, exactly.
This isn't a boogie night kind of night.
That's right.
So, did you had a story to go with that?
Yeah, I mean, my drinking stories are, few and far between because I'm such a sad, sad, lightweight when it comes to drinking. But I think the main story that pops into my head is like I could probably count on one hand the number of times I've actually been drunk, like which is sad. I just maybe I'm too much of a control freak that I never drink to the point of being completely wasted. But
Yeah.
when I went to Hawaii with my wife, we went out to a restaurant, and as we were waiting for our food, we started drinking, classic Hawaiian drinks served in coconuts,
Absolutely.
as you do. And
That's
I
what you have to do.
yeah, it was really delightful. And since there was no food for like an hour, I got straight up wasted. And I guess it was there that I really learned what kind of drunk I was. I was always wondering, like, would I be like a mean drunk or the kind of drunk who's like, you don't know me, nobody knows
Yeah.
me. But my wife pointed out that I was, an adorable and very loving, fun drunk. And
That's good.
we drove home. Well, she drove really. I
Yeah.
had my head out the window like a dog, just like, wow, the air is so nice. It's so cold. And so I guess I'm kind of a doofus when I'm drunk. So
I mean, that's the best way to be. A lot of people say, drunk mind speaks whatever, a sober heart or whatever the phrase is. I don't know it, but I think of like I'm the same way. Like I love that when I drink, I'm just happier and I'm goofy, and maybe at times I wasn't, and I've worked on myself, but but now it's very much just like, that's the scary thing is like, who am I going to be later that I can't control?
yes.
And do you want to control someone, or do you want to have control over something where people are like, oh, you were so goofy and you were fun and we had so much fun and like, look at this fun video? Or is it like you, flipped over a dumpster and stabbed someone? There's those two, far spectrums, and you're one or the other.
Right.
And,
right.
But yeah, that's a good drunk to be, the goofy one.
Yeah. I'm glad I turned into that kind of drunk. I can't imagine that I would be the stabby kind of drunk. So
yeah, you don't seem like a stabby kind of
no,
person.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You said that when you were when you were there, you had like the drinks out of the coconuts and stuff. So we were just there in first week of August for technically our first honeymoon, even though we eloped last year and did a honeymoon. But I'd never had a cocktail out of a fruit. And on our list, it was, we need to have a cocktail out of either a coconut or a pineapple. And so we ended up doing I think I did like a Miami Vice, which is like half daiquiri, half what's the white one? Pina colada.
Yes.
Out of the pineapple. And my mother-in-law asked when we got back, like, oh, what are some fun things you did? I was like, oh, I drank out of a pineapple. And she said, you went a very long way to do something you could have done here.
Well, that's true, but I'm sure the experience of doing it there made it all the more special.
Yeah, I mean, she was busting my balls on it, but it's just very funny of like, that was like, oh, I'm in Hawaii, I have to drink out of a fruit.
Right.
It wasn't like I need to see this volcano or I need to see this. Like, top of my list was, oh, I'm in Hawaii, I have to drink out of a fruit. That's number one.
That's great. I love that.
Well, I hate that we're at the end of our episode here because it's been so fun chatting with you. You're a very talented and very funny TV writer, and my parents say the same. which we just talked about during the break. But where can the viewers and listeners find you online to see your funny tweets and your funny posts?
Well, I'm on the Facebook. You could just find me, Josh Greenberg, or Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Josh Greenberg. And of course, Friendster. That's where I'm.
Is that where you show off your 13-inch penis?
That's right. Exactly. But yeah, I would say those 3 social media areas are a good place to find my stupid little jokes and memes. I've been out of the habit of posting for the last couple weeks, but I need to get back to it because I love making silly little memes and stuff.
And I love seeing what you have to say.
Oh, thank you.
Very funny. I want to thank all the viewers and listeners for checking out this show. Follow us on social media at HADWM. Subscribe to this channel wherever it shows on this video. And if you're a listener, go to watch.stricterpictures.com. And cheers. So cheers to you, Josh.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, Dylan.
Absolutely. Anytime.